Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Here we are. My live video is starting. Good. Good afternoon. It is Monday. It is Tuesday. It is Tuesday, March 19th. It is 2:34 p.m. And it didn't occur to me until just about this time yesterday that I didn't go live. I was like, first of all, I was in a little bit of a funk. I needed to do some clearing of my own darkness, and I had to sit in some pretty uncomfortable spaces. So I wasn't in a place where I could really be inspiring yesterday. And I thought about coming live and walking you through my process, but even that felt heavy. But it didn't occur to me to do that until 2:30. Normally, when I'm sitting waiting in line for Lily on Mondays, I re-listen to what I shared in the live because sometimes it comes in channeled, so I will re-listen to it and I sort of check in to see what I said, did it make sense, and then how do I want to edit it to add to like put it in other places and use little clips of whatever I said. So I went to go listen yesterday. I was like, oh, I never went live. Isn't that funny? And then I was going to go live last night, but it just felt like work. It felt heavy. And I was like, I really make it a point not to do anything that feels like work or feels heavy anymore. It just doesn't serve me in any way. So I never went live yesterday. And I can understand why I never went live yesterday. There's been some energetic heaviness. There's been some astrological challenges that have been up. There's been some energy that's been shifting recently. I know we're all feeling it. One of my favorite astrologers is Deborah Silverman, and she's very effusive and passionate and expansive, and she's fascinating. I love watching her. She has the highest when she talks. She has this like the sky is always blue and the grass is like we're happily like she really talks about the highest side of whatever astrological changes are coming, but she does so with like almost wide-eyed optimism. So I was listening to her today, but this was a video that she did yesterday. So yesterday, March 18th, the sun was still in Pisces. It was right next to and kissing Neptune, which was a big deal. It was the invitation yesterday to what she talked about is recognize that we are about to go into, there's some big changes afoot. Big changes. We can all feel it. We know there's something big that's coming. We can't put our fingers on what it is yet. We haven't been able to really articulate it or identify it, but every single person I've talked to talks about how it feels like there's something big happening, coming. But in the moment, we don't know what it is, so we just keep going about our business. We just keep going about our day-to-day lives. And that's what she was talking about today was how that we just keep pretending everything's fine and nothing's good. Like there's not this big epic change that's coming that's potentially anxiety producing and we don't know and it's probably going to get really messy. And she talked about healthcare and education system and all these politicals. Everything is broke. Everything just feels broken, which is true. There's a lot of shit. There's a lot of shit. And we are about to rebirth a new humanity. True. All of it's true. Birth as a process is messy and fundamentally changes the person giving birth forever. Physically, emotionally, mentally, all of it. That's what we're doing as a humanity. We are literally rebirthing a new human. And we're in the process. We're literally about to give birth. This is spring. Today is the first day of spring. New life, new beginnings, the rebirth of life. This is the first this is the beginning. It's a new year. It's a zodiac. It's the new year. And we're in and I've been saying this for a while. We're in this process of rebirthing, but that means we're getting rid of all kinds of shit that no longer serves us, and it is likely to get messy. It is likely to be challenging. The next 6 months or so have some pretty significant changes coming energetically, astrologically, consciously, all of the lees, all of it. And when I was watching this video this morning. She was talking about she said in the video she said the ancient shamanic wisdom of it's a good day to die. And what she was talking about is the not the death of but not the death of the ego. It's not that's not the concept, but it's the releasing of the ego. Our ego is necessary for our self-awareness, our ability to know who we are in the world, in the universe, in the cosmos. We need an ego. However, when the ego is in charge, when the brain thinks it can figure it out, it will just, I know. That's when we are no longer in the co-creation with the universe. We're no longer in that consciousness process. And that's when people talk about the death of the ego, it's not that the ego's not going to die. If the ego dies, we die. But it is about asking or inviting or allowing the ego to take a step back. And to that end, I invite you. This was such a beautiful call to action. She said, "How can you be show up with more kindness, more compassion, more love?" And she said, "It starts with self-love." And I was like, "Yes!" The whole I've said for years and years and years, the famous Marianne Williamson quote that came from A Return to Love, which is her teachings on A Course in Miracles, which if you've never read the book, is just a breathtaking book. But the concept is that the revolution that will ultimately save the world is a personal one. That's her quote. I maybe have gotten a little bit of paraphrasing, but what Deborah Silverman was talking about today is how can we show up with more kindness, more compassion, more thought, more love for ourselves and for our fellow humans, all going through this process. We're all going through it. How can we come into ourselves? How can we create the internal place of comfort? I had a conversation with a woman, a friend of mine who we hadn't connected in a little while, and we chatted this morning, and she was talking about this place of safety. And and she was sharing so beautifully her journey of how it's so painful to sit in those uncomfortable spaces, but when we get to the other side of it, it's such a it's like you can breathe easier, but you have to sit in the painfulness, and it's really hard. It's really hard. I found the same thing. Like yesterday, I was doing everything I could to avoid sitting in some uncomfortable discomfort, and I understand that it's natural. It's a human tendency. It is, and what it required was for me to have compassion for myself about how I was feeling and what I was feeling and what I was going through and all of it. And so, can you today have just a little bit more compassion, a little bit more affection, a little bit more, just take a breath, just breathe into your heart. I in our masterclass from last week, I did a meditation that I actually think I'm going to do in Saturday's workshop, of helping. What I did was I helped we meditated, we connected with our soul self, and then in the meditation I invited, um, uh, gave her direction to ask what her soul's mission was, and she got to get clarity on her soul's mission and meet her soul team. Because so for the next the plant, this is the harvest, this is the spring, the new birth, the beginning, the rebirth, the renewal. That's today. It's today. And the seeds we plant in the spring are what we harvest in the fall. So for the next 6 months, we're being asked and invited back to what is our soul's mission. Every single one of us alive on the planet right now has a mission. Our soul decided, chose, volunteered. Some of us kicking and screaming, but most of us volunteered to be alive in this moment right now so that we can heal. Heal ourselves, heal ancestral trauma, heal the planet, heal the wounding, heal the rifts, birth the new humanity. We are all alive at this moment to be the creators. And so, what do you want to create? What are you being called to? What is your soul's mission? And can you do it? Do you have the tools and the resources? Are you willing? Are you willing to go when you're called? And that's this work, the workshop that I'm doing on Saturday is that. It's like, what is your mission? How are you showing up? What is this work? And then what tools and resources do you have? What do you need? What tribe, what support? What are you going to do for the next 6 months to create that? To plant it, to harvest it, to nurture it, to cultivate that. And that's what we're being asked of right now. It's what we're being called to. That's the workshop. That's going to be the class in spring. It starts. I don't remember what day it is. I think the last Wednesday in May. We're going to do every other Wednesday. But the workshop on Saturday, and then the class, the first spring class. It's going to invite you to what are you doing with your one wild and precious life. So please join us for that, because this is the time now. The spring equinox. It's the season of rebirth. So let's rebirth humanity. Um, I will post the link for the Deborah Silverman video. It was just so powerful. It was just amazing. Um, there's still space in the workshop on Saturday. I haven't even advertised the class yet. I don't think anybody signed up for it. So I always give you folks the first preview of that, first option. And yeah, that's kind of all I have. It's really just like, who are you being today, and who are you showing up as, and who are you being called, and what do you need? How do you have to sit? What kind of discomfort do you need to sit in order to allow that to germinate? Have a wonderful, beautiful, amazing Tuesday, and I will see you next week.